If you've ever been somewhere and realized that you couldn't call someone, you already know the feeling. Last summer, my RV was in the shop, so I was living out of a rental car. A few days later, my rental car battery dies. In the middle of nowhere, with no cell service. What makes this worse is it wasn't supposed to be a big deal. Romstead was in Kansas. It was supposed to be in the shop for about a week. So I went ahead and rented a car. 3 days into that stretch, my rental car battery dies in the middle of nowhere with no cell service. And that morning, I was supposed to be the first person in at work to do the quality control on the cameras. If I didn't make it in, everything was going to be backed up behind me. I had to call a coworker who literally had just started the day before. I didn't want to, but I had to call her. It was 2:30 in the morning. So she drove 50 miles out into the forest just to pick me up so I could make it into work on time. That only happened because I was able to reach someone. This is where the only two things that mattered actually showed up. Power meant that I could make coffee, I could keep my cell phones charged. Connectivity meant I wasn't isolated. Without that, I am stranded and I am invisible. When I called on Wednesday, they hadn't even gotten to it. So that meant another week living out of my car. The next week I called again, and the same thing. They had some big jobs ahead of me, and they still had not gotten it into the shop. So each delay meant more rental costs, more time off work getting rescheduled, and sleeping in a car that had a trunk shorter than 6 feet. So I had to try to sleep diagonally, and my feet were still touching the end of the car. At that point, you're not just uncomfortable, you're doing math constantly. How much longer can I afford this? How many more times can I move my work schedule around? And when is this actually going to end? When they finally told me they had started on it, they promised that it would be finished the following week. They had to pull the engine to fix it. So I gave myself extra margin just in case. I didn't want to rush that. They called Wednesday night. They said it was finished. So after work Thursday night, I hopped in the car and drove 10 hours back out to Kansas. When I got there, I dropped the rental car off, Ubered back to Ford, immediately heading back to Wyoming. If something went wrong, I needed time. That's when I stopped thinking of power and internet as conveniences. They're contingencies. When you strip RV life all the way down, it's not about gear. It's about having power and being able to reach someone when everything else fails. That's when I realized something. Power and internet didn't just keep me moving. It also changed what I worried about. Once those were handled, I could finally pay attention to something else, like where my attention was going. That turned out to matter way more than I expected.